People often ask me, what watercolor brushes do you actually use? Today I'll share with you my absolute favorite go-to brushes I cannot paint without. Plus, I'll demonstrate the techniques that I use with each of them that make them completely irreplaceable to me. This isn't a review, and I'm not sponsored. These are real techniques in real paintings. The first one is a round brush. Now this one is an unusual brush. It's called a kayak brush because there are brushes on both ends. The idea being that you can have paint on one end and you can have just a damp brush on the other side in case you know you need to do some blending, or maybe have another color on the other side. I myself am very clumsy, and I have thrown brushes accidentally, dropped them into my painting, nearly ruined paintings, so I don't use them that way. You can't buy these anymore, so what I recommend is to find a good Sable brush, Kolinsky Sable being the best, and you will pay some money for this, but the reason is because these bristles hold a ton of water, a ton of pigment, and so you don't have to change your brush as often. You're more likely to have successful washes when your brush does not dry out quickly. Another type of round brush is one that has a good point. Now this particular brand came as a set, and even though these are round brushes, they come to a great point. These are 100% synthetic and very affordable. This is a flat brush. I don't use flat brushes very much. Because of the brand name on this, it says Liquitex Kolinsky Plus Bright, which is another way of talking about a flat brush. I think I bought this for acrylics many years ago, but then ended up not using it very much. And so on occasion I will use it for watercolors. These are good for buildings and other structures, leaves, rose petals, things like that. Here's one of my favorite brushes. This is a quill brush. This is by Princeton. It's the Neptune model. And the advantage of the quill brush is that even though this is 100% synthetic squirrel, it holds a lot of water and you can do washes very easily with it. Plus, when they're wet, they come down to a fine point. And that way, if you are working large and then taking the same pigment into the same area but need some details, you then have a point that you can work with. Here's another popular brush. This is a sword brush. It's 100% synthetic, and these are good for making lines. I don't use this one very much. I have another kind of liner I use, but I do have this one, and the liner I'm about to show you is very expensive, so this is a good alternative. Here's my favorite liner. This is a Kolinsky Sable brush I bought many years ago before it is the outrageous price that it is today, nearly $300. So when it's Christmas time or your birthday, see if somebody else will buy this for you. This one's by Escoda. They're out of Barcelona. It's the Optimo line. This is a size 14, and because of this huge belly in this brush, it also holds a lot of water and you don't have to change colors often, but it comes down to a very fine point. Now I tend to not use this for if I need to do details like in cut crystal. I tend to use it for foliage. That's what I think it's really good for. There are other brands of liners that you can buy. They're not quite as good, but they're certainly reasonable. Like Da Vinci makes a Casaneo, and Fumui also makes, they call them a needle brush. Here's another type of round brush. This has golden Taklon bristles, which are rather stiff, but still perfectly fine for watercolor. Not only can you get a sharp tip with it, but I find that if I need to do some lifting, this has the stiffness to be able to get into the paper and lift that pigment. This is a Royal LangNickel. There are other brands. If you're enjoying this video, Please like and subscribe so more people will be able to learn these helpful watercolor tips. And finally, the surprise brush. This is a very well used chip brush by Lowe's. It should actually be straight and flat because the idea is to use it in corners and crevices when you're painting around windows and things like that. But I accidentally discovered it one day when I was trying to paint some grasses, and what's wonderful about it is because it's wide, this is an inch wide, which is kind of big for watercolor, at least on the scale I used watercolor. You can put different color paints on either side. I mean, I suppose you could get 3 on. I use 2, and so it gives you a nice wispy feel to the brush strokes, and you can use multiple colors. Plus, I can get large areas done very quickly with this brush. It's $1.48. Who knew that a cheap brush would be useful in watercolor? For more details on how to hold your brush in different ways to get the effects you want, check out this video.